Sripad Bhaktivedanta Nemi Maharaj. Most of you know him. He is very sweet. He gives very sweet Harikatha, and he's very lovely. And he met the devotees 1971. Then he took Harinam 1974 from Srila Prabhupada. And then Diksha 1975 from also Srila Prabhupada. And then Sannyas from Srila Gurudeva 2004. So if Maharaj is here, yes, I will ask to unmute him. Dandavat pranams, Maharaji. Hare Krishna. Welcome.
Thank you. So I just want to try this with a microphone because there's some pretty heavy rock going on in the background.
Okay.
Can you?
No, not right now.
I can't hear you anyway. So okay. All right. No problem.
Oh, it was good a second ago.
First of all, I'd like to appreciate the opportunity to take part in this amazing marathon. I took it too lightly, actually, initially. But when I tuned into it, there's just so much beautiful, wonderful, powerful spiritual energy flowing. Great current. And there's one verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya, he took Harinam to the Chandals, and he made a wreath of the holy name, and he garlanded the world with that wreath. So actually, this is what's happening now. There's a double-length garland of amazing Harikatha, Gurukatha going on now, and it's purifying the atmosphere. Srila Prabhupada said that in some time, not too long in the distant future, like maybe 10 years, something like that, people would wake up and they would actually choose Hare Krishna devotees to be leaders. He said, not because there'd be a revolution by a small number, and not because everybody would become Hare Krishna devotees and choose the devotees, but everywhere, wherever they are, they would waken up spiritually of their own accord. The spiritual tide is coming in. And he said, especially distribution of books and the kirtan is a very powerful force for promoting this spiritual purification. So in all ways, I want to offer my gratitude for the opportunity to be a small part in what's going on. I really, really appreciate the efforts of Yashodhananda Prabhu, Yashod Hari, and all the other devotees who are facilitating this. So I want to Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Sarasate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Asyakyari Satkarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaitam Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Bo Hari Haribo, Haribo, Jai Guru Haribo, 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 Haribo. Offer my humble obeisances at the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudeva, my Shiksha Guru, Sannyas Guru, who made a human being out of a jellyfish, which is more or less what I was when I met him first, and put me out on the road, sharing the wonderful things that he gave us. Offer my obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, my Diksha Guru, and all our Guru Varga, without whom I would be dead long ago. Many years ago, I wrote a song for Srila Prabhupada, and for the centennial, and I wrote, you get a notebook, I wrote a song with the same melody for our Gurudeva as well. What a page. Oh, Gurudeva, let me sing your glory, like a tiny dwarf who wants to catch the moon. The truth you gave in pastime story, you fed us nectar with your golden spoon. From a Radha's side, you appeared among us. The truth and practice you made clear. The cherished mood and aspiration, our service to your Radha dear. From Braj you came with your living water, reviving seeds our Prabhupada had sown. Service to Nam and Vishibhama's daughter, the bhakti secrets we had never known. Our pining souls, so parched and helpless, you claimed and took us far beyond our wildest dreams, to the realm of Braja, embraced us with that love so fond. Oh, Gurudeva, our deep confusion you have dispelled with your instructions clear. Our hearts, you say, from doubt's delusion, we surely know you as near and dear. Oh, may this joyful celebration bring us together, close to you, inspire new moods of cooperation in service pastimes ever new. You see me floundering in Maya's ocean. I'm struggling far from any shore. Please grant me service and true devotion to love and serve you evermore. Jai Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva. Srila Gurudev achieved, like my Guru Maharaj, he achieved something extraordinary, spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world, coming to the West, to people who are like animals, living like animals. He himself said, eating, sleeping, making, defending, not understanding Vedic, like the real way of living, like a human being, a spiritual human being. So in 12 short years, he spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. In 12 short years, so many sleeping souls he revived. But for want of advanced association, there was, for most of us, there was a ceiling, how far we could go, how high we could go. Srila Gurudev, he was told by Srila Bhakti Jivan Janardhan Goswami Maharaj that you must preach Prem Bhakti. He told Gokul Prabhu that the two people who can chant, who can preach Prem Bhakti, that's Srila Govinda Maharaj and myself. And now Srila Govinda Maharaj is left. So if I don't do, then it will be lost. So Srila Gurudev also, he achieved something astounding. That he could open the treasure chest. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Goswami Maharaj said that our father, he meant my Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, he said we are minors, M-I-N-O-R, means young. So he's left something in trust. It's in an iron chest. We can't open that chest. We can't get that treasure yet because we're minors, we're not mature yet. But at least we should know what's in that iron chest. So the iron chest is Vaidhi Bhakti. And the treasure is the treasure of Braj Bhakti. So Gurudev came some almost 20 years after Srila Prabhupada left. And he opened the chest and he started distributing to people who, just as when my Guru Maharaj came and spread, Srila Prabhupada came and spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, there were protests from Hindus, protests also from other Vaishnavas. They said if Lord Chaitanya had intended for a whole world to become Krishna conscious, he would have preached himself. Somebody told him that his godbrother said like that. He said, no. He said, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, they preached all over India and they kindly left the rest of the world for us. It was inconceivable, actually. And what Gurudev did also is inconceivable. That he opened this, he unleashed this flood of Braj love. What kind of a personality? Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, he's given like a job description for a spiritual master. That he saves the fallen conditioned souls from the fire, the burning fire of material existence. And we also understand that Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is also saying that he saves those who have actually attained a high level of Bhav, Bhakti Ras. He's saving them from the fire of separation by giving very, very beautiful Harikatha. And then he's dancing in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's kirtans. Mahaprabhu Kirtana, Nitya Gita. And he's decorating the temple, Sri Vigrahara Dhana Nityanana. He's dressing the Vigraha forms. So with his devotees, he's taking part in deity worship. And in his heart, or in the spiritual world, he, with his blessed associates, Shri Guru, in spiritual form, they're dressing they're worshipping Radha and Krishna's pastimes there. Narottam Thakur's song. Vrindavana Ramyasthana Divya Chintamani Dha Ratana Mandira Mano Hara. Vrindavan, such a beautiful place, made of touchstone, wish-fulfilling gems. And there, the jeweled temples attract the mind and heart. What are those jeweled temples? The wish-fulfilling trees, they come together. 3, 4 wish-fulfilling trees, they come together, and then with creepers wound around them and flowers, they make these beautiful bejeweled temples. And in those temples, Sri Guru with her associates, they're attending to the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And then Guru in this world, he's giving prasadam to the devotees, devotees are offering through him, and he's distributing prasadam, so many prasadam pastimes. And in his heart, or in the spiritual world, Sri Guru is receiving Bhagavat Prasad from Dhanishta, who's very close to Krishna, and then running back to Yavat and distributing that Bhagavat Prasad to Srimati Radhika and her friends. So the remnants then become Sri Bhagavat Prasad, Srimati Radhika. And then Sri Guru with her associates, they're enjoying this double prasad, Mahaprasad. Guru is always eager to remember the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. In practice now, Gurudeva is telling us over and over again, especially in Sri Bhajan Rahasya, such an amazing book, such a beautiful book, where he's disclosing his moods of meditating on the pastimes. He's explaining how to meditate on the pastimes when we chant the holy name. And in Braj, Sri Guru, during the daytime, Sri Guru and their associates, they're remembering the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Whatever they're doing, cleaning, cooking, looking after babies, teaching the parrots, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. And also when they're attending Srimati Radhika, so they're reminding her of the pastimes, they're remembering Radha and Krishna's pastimes, and reminding Srimati Radhika, she becomes so happy. She becomes so happy. And then Nikunjayuno Ratikali Sitai is so expert. Sri Guru is so expert in facilitating the pastimes of Radha and Krishna in the groves. Hari Tvena Samasta Shastri. So Guru in this world is like the personification of the qualities of Krishna, who's Patita Pavan, Dinabandhu. He's very, very kind. His main quality, Haritva, his main quality is his mercy on the fallen. So Hari, this is a name for Krishna because he's a thief. He steals our adverse situations. He steals our material conditioning. But a bigger thief is Srimati Radhika, because she steals Krishna also. She steals Krishna's mind. She steals Krishna's heart. Krishna, he steals everybody's heart. But Srimati Radhika is the thief of thieves. And her attendants, the Manjari attendants, they're personifications of the qualities of Srimati Radhika. Rupa Manjari, Guna Manjari, Vilas Manjari. So Shri Guru, like our Gurudev, we can understand that he's the personification of the beautiful, playful, amorous pastimes. Radha Raman. Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jai Jai. So he's directly, Shri Guru is directly personification of these beautiful qualities of Srimati Radhika. And Yasya Prasada Bhagavad Prasada. So Shri Rupa Goswami, by the mercy of Guru, if we satisfy Guru, then Krishna is satisfied. And if Guru is not satisfied, then Krishna will never be satisfied. There's no progress. And Srila Rupa Goswami is describing how in Chatu Pushpanjali. So Sri Guru is at the door of the Kunja, and Krishna comes. He's desperate to meet with Srimati Radhika. And he's begging. Chatu means flattering. So the Chatu Pushpanjali starts off with Rupa Goswami flattering Srimati Radhika, but at the end he's describing how Krishna comes and is flattering the Manjaris. And Rupa Goswami says, I want this boon, that Krishna will come and he'll speak flattering words to me, and when I'm satisfied, I will lead him to you. So Yasya Prasadana Gati Kato. If Shri Guru is not pleased with Krishna, then he can't make any progress in reaching Srimati Radhika. So Shri Guru is such a personality. Krishna is performing his pastimes right now in countless universes with all his, or Radha and Krishna performing their pastimes with all their attendant Manjaris, all their associates, including the Manjaris. So Shri Guru is there in countless universes. And after Radha and Krishna's pastimes are closed, then after some time, Lord Chaitanya comes. And after Lord Chaitanya, then there's a succession of gurus, Guru Parampara. And Shri Guru is there in that Parampara, also in countless universes. And that Shri Guru attends to us with a completely, totally focused attention. It's astounding. It's completely astounding. When a big circle touches a little circle, you know, the actual touching point is just one minute point. So we can see devotees have related their beautiful touching points with Shri Guru. The Gurudeva is so attentive, so authentic, so responsive, so powerful, so loving in his relationships with us, performing heart surgery, encouraging us, sometimes chastising. Like when I was this was in 2000, I guess I'd reached something of a plateau. I'd left home, quote unquote home, and come to India. I'd been editing Gurudev's books, and I think Gurudev wanted me to move on. So one day he was giving a lecture and he said, we have to surrender. You have to surrender. So when he came up from his lecture on the lectures in Mathura, so he came up onto the roof, devotees were lined up, and I said, as he walked past me, I said, Gurudev, yes. He said, I want to surrender, but I need help. And he looked like right into my eyes. He said, yes, I will help you. Come tomorrow with the Western devotees. Western devotees, Gurudev. Come with Urukram. That's now Padmanabha Maharaj. So we went, and he said, call the Western devotees. So we called them. So I was sitting in the room, and then he says, now, Jnanadas, what is your problem? I didn't know what was happening. And he gave me such a hard time after that. For some days, there was one time, he was giving a lecture. I was sitting like 4 or 5 rows back from him. And he said, give Jnanadas the microphone. So I'm sitting there with a microphone like an ice cream cone. And he says, now, what sort of a disciple do you think you are? So, but yet 2 or 3 days later, he's giving a class from Prem Vibhart. And he said that in the spiritual world, nobody says, I love you, because if they do that, then the love will disappear. Similarly, in the material world, the guru never says to his disciple, I love you. And then he looked right at me. I was a little back in the audience. He looked directly at me. He said, you should realize these things. So what he's saying is that I love you, but I'm not going to tell you. And then later on, we met in Moscow. That was after all that happened. Urukram Prabhu, now Padmanabha Maharaj, he wanted to scoop me up and take me to Russia to preach there. And I went. That was the beginning of my Slavic adventure. So Gurudev came in 2000, first time to Moscow. And we met in the airport. He was so happy to see me. I was, of course, delighted to see him. But I mean, he wasn't chastising anything. He was so happy. And later on, we were just briefly, we were walking together, just the two of us. And I mentioned something that, you know, when you threw me out of the mutt in Mathura. And he said, oh, that was a prison for you. So this whole drama was just to chuck me out of the nest, basically. I had so many amazing musical interactions with him. First time he saw me, actually, I was leading kirtan when he came in. It was the second lecture that he gave in UK in '96. And then after 3 or 4 days, I turned up with the violin. I bought this one specially for the centennial. Actually, it's the nicest violin I've had. I like it. So so I was playing, and he was really intrigued, or more than intrigued. So then a couple of days later, he said, I heard you sung some English songs. I said, yes. He said, so I want to hear them. So I sang this song, Krishna's So Wonderful. It's describing the Braj pastimes. It's got an Irish tune. And Gurudev just laughed and laughed and laughed. Afterwards, Yashoda Gopi had been with him for a long time. She said, I haven't seen him laugh like that in 10 years. So then at the end, after I didn't remember, but Shamsundar Prabhu actually reminded me. He said, do you remember what Gurudev said when you sang that song? I said, no. He said, you're a funny man. I want your association. So this is amazing, you know. I mean, I think that everybody, or many devotees have this kind of, you know, very close contact with Gurudev. And here's this, I mean, ultra cosmic, beyond cosmic personality who's so focused in genuine, authentic, you know, as though just human pastimes with us. it's beyond astounding. I can't get over it, actually. It's not, I mean, it's, you know, the last Guru Kripa, Yogita Vichare, Kichu Nahi Pai, Tomara Karna Sa. There's nothing in me that could attract a spiritual personality. Nothing. Only whatever spiritual qualities have been given to me by, you know, that spiritual personality or other spiritual personalities. It's extraordinary. One time, I played several musical instruments, various times. Oh, there were so many. Anyway, there's one, I came into his room, I got a bag, and I got a couple of flageolets, penny whistles sticking out. And Madam Maharaj, kind of mischievously, he pulled out the penny whistle and he showed it to Gurudev. And Gurudev said, "So you can play?" I said, "Yeah." So he said, "I want to hear." Like, of course. So I played Irish hornpipe as far as I recall, because that's kind of my showpiece. It's always been my showpiece. So when I finished playing, Gurudev said, "So why don't you get them for the deities?" Like, you know, I should have thought of that ages ago, that Krishna wants to play a penny whistle. So I said, okay. So when I was in the West, I bought 3 actually. I bought 2 and my daughter bought 1. And I gave them to him. He said, "Oh, 3. Mathura, Vrindavan, Govardhan." I said, "Yes." Okay. So he said, "Okay, we'll give them to the deities." So a little later, I went to look at, a little later, I had a look at the deities and there were no penny whistles. So I wrote to Srila Gurudev and I said, "Gurudev, I think the gopis have stolen those flutes." And Gurudev wrote back to me, he said, "No, actually we found that the holes in Krishna's hand was too small to put those penny whistles in. So we just stuck them in his waist belt. I don't think the gopis have stolen those flutes yet." He wasn't just humoring me. I mean, when I came to, in 96, I spoke to him. I said, "Should I bring the violin when I come to India?" He said, "Yes, you can do it." Like really casually. And somehow I thought, oh, it'd be a bother if I do it. So I didn't do it. And when I arrived, he said, "So have you brought the violin?" I said, "No." He said, "Oh, you've done a very bad thing." And there was a couple of times that I arrived from Russia without the violin because they wouldn't let me through. They wouldn't let me through customs with the violin. And Gurudev was literally angry. He said to me, "You've taken my energy." And he wasn't joking. It was serious. And I remembered, like 97, I think it was. He was joking. He said, "Oh, I'll buy a plane ticket for your violin." He said, "Without your violin, you are 0. Oh, okay, it's nice. Later on, several years later on, I asked him that this, you know, playing musical instruments and singing, is this eternal seva, eternal service? He said, "It may be." And then just recently I thought, well, what did he mean when he said, "Without your violin, you're 0? Maybe it really is part of, you know, part of my soul. I don't know. I don't know. That's, you know, the adventure continues. So Srila Gurudev, he emphasized sadhana is a means to attain sadhya, and sadhya is bhav. That is the goal. If you don't know that the sadhya is bhav, you're not practicing sadhana. If you know, but you don't know how to reach bhav, then you're not practicing sadhana. And if you know how, in principle, to attain bhav, but you're not practicing in such a way to move forward to that, you're not practicing sadhana yet. He really emphasized the goal. We must know the goal. We must know the goal. This is one of the first things. And the goal, of course, is Radhapalya Dasa. He emphasized this. So sometimes devotees get hung up about that. Radhapalya Dasa, like, I can't relate to Radha and Krishna's pastimes. Okay, but we can relate to Gurudev's pastimes. Gosh, we fish in this 55 hours. If we fish in this 55 hours, we'll find so many Guru pastimes, Gurudev pastimes. And if we meditate on those, meditate on service to Guru. If we can't relate to service to Radha and Krishna, then we can meditate service to Guru, and gradually, what he wants for us will come into our hearts.
Maharaj?
Somebody mentioned something about humility. I'll just tell a couple of stories. When finally, there was some discussion. I'm going to take sannyas or I'm not going to take sannyas. So in 2003, there was some discussion, Sajjan Maharaj and myself, now Sajjan Maharaj. So there's some discussion about us. And Gurudev had a big conference. He didn't mind humiliating me in front of all the deities, in front of all the devotees. So he said, if somebody has a tail, that's all right. But if the tail covers the eyes, then that's a problem. I think you should wait. That was 2003. And by then, I'd already decided, okay, I'm not going to desire sannyas. I mean, I'm not going to want it, whatever happens. So then 2004, he calls us down. He called Vaikanas Maharaj and myself. And he said to Vaikanas Maharaj, I know you've always wanted to sannyas. And Vaikanas, what? I didn't. So no, it's all right. You take it. We're fine. Then he turned to me. He said, so, you want to take sannyas? I said, if you want, Srila Gurudev. He said, no, you have to want. Oh, all right. And he said, then? So then he said, I know there is something in your heart, but I will give you anyway. And then 2 or 3 days later, it was just 2 or 3 days before he gave us sannyas. He was giving a lecture and he said, public lecture in Govardhan. He said, you should know that Gurudev gives sannyas to devotees who are not qualified so that they can become qualified. And my god sister, Manjari, afterwards, she said, you know when he said that? He was looking right at you. So this is also part of the adventure. He's performing different operations, putting me through different situations, gradually coming through. So I'm praying at his lotus feet that somehow or other I can come to the point of becoming serious about sadhana, not just becoming absorbed and obsessed about the preaching projects that I was engaged in before I even met him, scientific preaching. So I'm praying at his lotus feet that I can get the taste for sadhana and that I want to serve my Guru Maharaj. He has a specific mission and I have a specific place and responsibility in that mission. But I also dearly want to serve Gurudev and satisfy him. So with that, I'll end. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be part of this amazing, unprecedented marathon glorification of Srila Gurudev. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpa Guruvasya Kripa Sindhudevata Putitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for this sweet katha, for these sweet memories. And it definitely is very inspiring for us to also to connect in that way with Srila Gurudev. And thank you very much. Thank you for being in our lives. And we are looking forward to have you in this Latin American festival for Centennial, for Srila Gurudev Centennial too. Everybody's waiting there for you. So thank you very much.